Mm. Let's start today's streaming. Today I will try to implement React query data fetching or mutating. Let me check if stream is started. Yep. So 1 hour or 2 hour, let's see. I've created by the AI. The prompt is here. The prompt result is here. So the thing that we need to implement is fetching the goals from the goals table. Let's open the Chrome browser or localhost. I have not run still. The server. Okay. First, let's check which kind of providers we already have. Here, no providers here declared, but we have dashboard layout, which is just empty server-side component. Let's inside of components. I'm not sure in layout or somewhere else. Create the providers component. First of all, let's install React query. Installation. That's not good, but okay. In our dependencies, do we have 10 stack React query? Yep. So let's go to, yeah, by the way, in my API calls ID road, there is lots of thing going on here. Let's start to clean up this code. In nodes, not shared libraries, sponsored AI, trainings, API improvements. There's better error handling. Okay. And use services for API roads. For not repeating logic, writing. Extract shared business logic in the services layer to avoid duplication across API roads. Yeah, that sounds better. And in the lib directory, let's create services. How name the service file? I think it's better to name like call or call service. Call service. Square async function get calls. Or Prisma. Default. Type get calls options user ID which is required for users, maybe might be not required for admins. For example, if we will have the admin user, then we'll need to get all. By the way, in configurations or settings, Windsurf user setting, format, open editor setting, on save editor format on save, true. So something again, save, great. While we export all functions, not the service class. So if we go to our route, here we have also this another one. Okay, let's export also other services, other actions. Function create goal. Description is optional. And use this syntax. We'll configure linter later. This is create, export type, update. By the way, for update, we can use another syntax, like ID of the call itself, like this. An option will be create options, emit ID, and with optional fields. Not only user ID, also ID. I forget how to make all field options. I forget the syntax, how to make fields optional in TypeScript. TypeScript, how to make all fields optional. Partial, yeah. Instead of this, we can use partial. Great. And data will be options. And the same here. So also can be done. Maybe rename this to a request instead of options. And then create a response type. Like request. And here expert type get calls response. Type create call response. Expert type update call response, which is awaited. Return type of update call. And we can separate it by creating regions like get calls, create call, and update call. Also delete call. Yep, something like this. Let's go to our let's close this one. Okay. The another thing I would like to do is create the high order components for handling requests. It's still authorized, yeah. And to not repeating the session validation. And I create a high order component named with session. It could be in the lib. Details. API with session TS based on this code create high order component with session. Yeah, it checks the session, then called the handler. So use with session. The problem of the session is possibly null. So let's check. It's not worked. So default is nullable. But here, why we check the session, it should not be nullable. Session contains user, or it contains session. Yeah, it contains both. Let's check the type of the session. Maybe this has something. Nope. Let's ask AI. Is possibly null, but why we already check that it is not null, then make it not nullable. He just added the not nullable utility of TypeScript. Okay, I see, and it fixed. So we can remove this two also. Great. Now it looks smaller. But let's check if it's work. API calls. Yep. But there is a issue, like here we have a custom context. We also need to use context. State wait session order component also handle the parameter. It's still working. Let's use this here. Use services and wait session component. There are some issues still. It's about argument type. What is my by the way, I'm using AI, as you can see, not trying to use the like code writing from AI tools, but inline AI I'm using. I'm not hearing. Wait. Let me check. I'm not hearing. Wait. Let me check. Okay. Now it should be fixed. Let's try to understand why this show the error. Problems. Cannot read the TS config. What? Where? Why? Where is it? No, argument type, context and context. This could be undefined also. Yeah, I know about anti-gravity, the Google's one. But I already paid for this one for a year. As you can see, I'm not even using credits from this, so I'm trying to use AI as minimum as possible to not lose the control of code. But where it's possible, I'm using. And this is because of this. So here context is not required. But here, as we can see, our handler here takes 3 arguments. Here it takes only 2. What I forget, the session one. No, session assigned to the handler. Handler has the session. So if we make this not nullable, not required, then we will lose the ability to create roads without it. Or if it does something like this, and always send context. Here is fixed. Here for some reason I'm not using the session, which is not good. This is not a solution, but if someone okay, we can create overload. Create overload when handler has context, then pass the context, otherwise pass, or it will understand. Hope. Yep, so it fixed. Let's check what it does. What it did. Okay, it created 2 session handler types. One has context, another does not. And then just 2 overload methods. First takes this type, another takes this one. So the problem is solved for now. And in update call, we should check if this call not the current sessions users call, then it should prevent the modification of this call. But should we now do it in update call? Function, or we should do it before updating the call. So we will have two actions. Here we add another get call by ID. If our call user ID not that one, then return unauthorized. Also not bad. So the same we will use here. And also, what's the problem of this road context? Why we have declared it, I don't know. Also, we can remove this one. So this is clean. The another road is also clean. Yep. So maybe commit this part and then move forward. So close the cascade. Let's go to what we're gonna do. What you gonna do when they come for you? Implement the query client. client, which it looks something like this. In the lib directory, let's create React query directory at the query client TS file. I'm not sure about implementation of this. Should dehydrate query unknown default should. I'm sure about this one. How to use this. The other part of logic is clean. Query client undefined. But if we use provider, why we use the singleton pattern for resolving browser query client? Not sure about that. So let's create shared directory and providers. Query client provider, or the original one is already with the same name. Query client provider. Okay. Then how to name it? Not mine query. A client provider. Maybe ask AI if the query provider is named query client provider. I'll name my last wrapper provider, which contains only query client provider. Query provider. Why not? Great. So let's check the docs. Query provider, query client. Okay. Expert accounts. Oh, I have not created. Query provider. Expert query provider. Import query client. Here, use client for sure. I am not sure about the configuration. Let's keep it by default for now, then we'll modify to the by configuration. So in our providers, we will use query provider. Great. Then we go to the root of our application in the layout. Do we need query provider in login on the register pages? I think no, so let's add it only in dashboard layout. For providers. Let's check if it's not broken. Looks like not. So let's go to hooks, create directory called API, and create use calls hook. In our use calls hook, we will just fetch, implement use calls by using that query and fetch. Yep. And we go to our page, calls page. Here we need to add hydration for getting the calls before loading the page, and after, when I will call use calls in my calls client component, it will fetch the cached data or hydrated data. So while I already have get goals, I can just, for helping AI, implement with this is React server implement React iteration or goals for this page. Use iteration provider. Okay, we have prefetch query for key calls, which is the same as in our hook. We use session here. Let's see if it's not broken for now. Not, it's working. Oh, we have warning here. Image loading the property. Like that. Largest contentful paint. Please add the loading eager property if this image is above default. Does not matter. So let's go to our components. Add goals directory. Create goals page, which is client side components. Here we use our goals. This is type of anyway. Let's check. I have now provided the goal result. Import type get goals response. I think I know why this happened. Our get data is stiffer. Response. But the thing is, the response data is just the goal. I see. I have different type of data. So in our root, we unwrap the goals. The result. Or the change Let's keep it the same, actually. Not wrapping anything. And do the same with the other route. Here. And oh, here is okay. That's all. Great. Now we need to create. How long it goes? Create some call and test it. Of course, if I can. There's my call. Ah, it's ask for payment. Close it, close it. But we are programmers. So we can create some endpoint. Where we not the one call, but multiple. Well, so let's open localhost goes generate API goes generate. That's it. And this is got by hydration, by the way. The and calls created by current user. I think this is all for now. We set up the API helpers, also React query. So let's commit. And see you next time.